Wax modeling is a process that has been used for thousands of years. It's not new. What's new is the approach. Wax carving with matte tools opens up new design possibilities for the wax modeler. Matte tools, the wax carving tools that bring you a new level of precision and speed. In this video, we will introduce you to 3 matte tools: the matte gun, the matte trimmer, and the matte mini lathe. Each of these tools will help you create better waxes. This tape will show you with specific step-by-step instructions all of the techniques you need to operate these matte tools. As you increase your carving capabilities, you can make better models and increase your profits. We have designed this video so that the work appears as you see it. As you work through the projects presented in this tape, you will learn to use the tools, and you'll be prepared to adapt each tool to your own methods. For precision and mechanical accuracy, choose the trimmer or the lathe. For free-form work and spontaneous designs, choose the matte gun. For best results, watch this entire video to plan your practice exercises before you sit down with the tools. Each segment begins with a title, so you can find it easily for review. Also, as you watch this program, make note of what you will need. Assemble everything before you begin any of these projects. You will need a flexible shaft with a 1-inch diameter handle, an alcohol lamp, a spatula, some pieces of wire, razor or scalpel blades, burrs, and a finger gauge. Details on using these items are given in each segment of this video. The matte gun is the tool for building creative free-form designs. Broaden your modeling technique with the freedom of spontaneous organic shapes. Each matte wax offers you different degrees of flexibility. You can create abstract designs and beautiful, unique jewelry to enhance your line. The matte gun kit consists of the matte gun with a small round nozzle, a large round nozzle, a wrench to change nozzles, sample wax pellets in blue, green, and red, and the book, Wax Modeling for Jewelry and Sculpture. When working with the matte gun, you may find these accessories useful: wire, Aran Alpha adhesive or another instant setting glue, clippers, masking tape, a small ruler, and the matte mandrel. We highly recommend a wooden mandrel for working with wax. You can also use a wax pen. The parts on the gun itself are the melting chamber, the loading chamber, the feed rod, and the thermostat. The matte gun comes with one nozzle already in place. The matte gun comes with the thermostat preset for normal operation. To adjust the thermostat, turn the screw to a higher or lower position. Turn it 1 or 2 positions, then wait a few minutes for the wax to reach that new temperature. Raising or lowering the thermostat will change the viscosity of the wax flowing through the nozzle. In this video, we have indicated the best thermostat settings for each project. Plug in the matte gun. Let it warm up for about 1 minute. Pull the feed rod out. Put one wax pellet into the loading chamber. Be sure the pellet is flat on the bottom of the loading chamber. Push the feed rod forward to place the wax pellet in the melting chamber. Pull out the feed rod and place another pellet in the loading chamber. Always wait a moment to allow the wax to melt before applying pressure. Push the feed rod forward to start wax extruding from the nozzle. Practice extruding wax wire. Try changing the thermostat and changing nozzles to develop a sense of the technique. Always change nozzles when the mat gun is slightly warm. Pull the feed rod back so there is no pressure on the wax in the nozzle. Use the wrench supplied in the kit to change the nozzle. Once you have practiced extruding wax wire with the mat gun, try these simple exercises to develop your skill. This first exercise will help you practice modeling with blue wax. Let's begin by forming a wax like this one. This exercise teaches you the technique of modeling on an object. Load the mat gun with matte blue wax and set the thermostat for normal. On a wooden mandrel, locate the correct size for the ring you are designing. Check the size with a finger gauge, mark it with a pencil, or wrap a strip of paper around the mandrel. Use the matte ring mandrel for this technique. The wood prevents the wax from sticking. With a steel jewelry mandrel, put a piece of masking tape once around to help hold the wax. With a steel mandrel, extrude a short wire onto the mandrel, then tape it with masking tape. This lead-in will act as an anchor for your work. A wood mandrel does not need a lead-in because the wax will stay in place. As you apply wax, turn the mandrel with your other hand. You can also change the thickness of the extruded wax by alternately holding the mandrel still, then turning the mandrel while you keep the extruding pressure constant. Remove the completed wax from the mandrel. If you need to touch up the surface, use a heated tool or a wire warmed over an alcohol lamp. With the matte blue wax, you can capture the beautiful fluid line of an abstract design. Experiment with the blue wax pellets included in your mat gun kit to perfect the technique of modeling on an object. You can also create rings in 2 or 3 parts, then weld the parts together. These instructions are featured in the book Wax Modeling included in the mat gun kit. Try some of the projects featured in the book to expand your ability. Blue wax is also very effective for modeling in air. With this technique, the wax freezes in mid-flow to build some unusual designs. The modeling in air technique can be used to design organic shapes. Load the mat gun with blue wax and set the thermostat just below the normal setting. For this technique, you will need a rigid piece of wire. Heat the tip of the wire and wind some wax around it to form your lead-in. Using moderate steady pressure, extrude a wax wire while turning your lead-in wire. As you extrude the wax, blow on it so it freezes in the position you want. A small fan on your bench will help with this. Remember to keep any flame away from the fan. Continue to build your design in space. Move the mat gun, the lead-in wire, or both together to create your design. When your design is complete, cut the lead-in off of the completed wax. If you need to, burnish the spot where the lead-in was cut with a heated wire or pass the entire model quickly over the flame of an alcohol lamp. For another technique, use a mandrel to form the shank, then come up in the air to build your design. Extrude several different freeform shapes and choose parts of each to form your design. You can form beautiful organic shapes with this technique. Practice this exercise to develop your own sense of the flexibility and control of modeling in air. Designing with a pattern can help you plan ahead before you begin modeling. Try this exercise to experiment with this technique. Modeling with a pattern can save you time and materials. Draw your own pattern or choose a pattern from nature, photographs, or other sources. Use tracing paper so the wax will hold but not stick. Load the mat gun with blue wax and set the thermostat at normal. Look at your pattern and decide how it can be broken up into separate elements. With sweeping strokes, follow the lines of the pattern. Begin each line before the pattern and carry it out beyond the pattern. This helps control the flow of wax and prevents droplets of wax from interfering with the pattern. Cut off the excess wax and weld the ends together with a heated tool. After it cools, cut a piece of sheet wax with a blade or scissors into a shape that appeals to you. Weld your pattern to the sheet wax. Seal the pattern with a heated tool completely around to prevent any holes between the pattern and the sheet. Another sealing method: heat the tool and push it through the sheet wax to weld your pattern in place. Practice this exercise with several patterns. This technique is very good for making models for enameled jewelry. Refer to your book for additional techniques and design possibilities. Experiment with the projects in this tape and try the tips in the book. Your new skill will inspire ideas and methods of your own. The second wax included with the matte gun is the matte green wax. Extruded threads of this wax will flatten when they touch water, creating unusual abstract shapes. The modeling on water technique is for abstract, spontaneous designs. This exercise will show you the technique of modeling on water. Let's experiment with building a model like this one. Load green wax pellets into the matte gun and set the thermostat between normal and high. Prepare a small bowl of water. Remember that the matte gun is an electric tool and should never be used over tubs, sinks, or any large container of water. Be very careful, even with a small bowl of water, not to drop the matte gun into the water. When working with water, always plug the matte gun into a ground fault interrupter plug available at your local hardware store. Heat the tip of a piece of wire and wind some wax around it to form your lead-in. Dip the lead-in into the water and build your model. Always keep the gun at a distance of 2 to 3 inches above the water. As the wax touches the water, it immediately flattens, creating an unusual organic structure. The blue extruded wax has a round shape. The green wax gives a flat shape to the structure of your piece. Extrude the wax with moderate pressure. Move the lead-in wire or the matte gun to maneuver the model as you work. With steady pressure, extrude the wax in a circular manner until you have a design that appeals to you. Remove the wax model from the liquid. Combine extruded components to create an organic design. Burnish the ends with a heated tool or pass the model through the flame of the lamp. Clean off any fine filaments. Burnish any spots where the filaments touch the wax model. With a heated tool, weld the various wires wherever they touch. To determine where pearls or stones will be placed, position them on the model with sticky wax. Use small bits of red extruded wax wire to weld to the model. Clip off any extra length. Leave just enough to hold the pearl in place. Clean off any excess wax with a heated tool. Practice these skills and you'll be creating many wonderful new pieces with the modeling on water technique. Finally, the third wax included with the matte gun is the matte red wax. This special wax is hard yet flexible. Red wax is strong and resilient, so it will hold its shape for knotting. Matte red wax keeps its round shape as you work. It is an excellent choice for knotted or woven designs. It is also great for prongs, pearl pegs, or sprues. This exercise will get you started on the weaving technique. To begin, load the red wax and set the thermostat on normal. On a smooth surface, extrude threads. Threads should be between 20 and 30 inches long. Make sure the surface is clean and smooth. A wooden desk or board is ideal. Plexiglass or formica will work well also. Don't work on a surface such as metal, stone, or glass. These can cool the wax too quickly. Hold the matte gun approximately 3 inches above the board and extrude the threads with even pressure. Experiment with this technique. Try extruding with 2 hands for greater control. For extra thick or extra thin threads, adjust your speed, the wax temperature, the pressure on the feed rod, or try changing the nozzle. After After a few seconds, examine each thread. Lift it up and gently pull it straight. Check for consistency in diameter and choose threads that are similar. Hold threads up to the light and check for bubbles or weak points. Any lighter areas on the wax indicate imperfections. Prepare a small loom, either a board with a clip or one like this. We made this loom out of a 4-inch by 8-inch pine board, 2 eye screws and a nail. A strip of double stick tape or utility wax will anchor the threads. Choose 2 threads of similar thickness, between 20 and 30 inches long. As you practice this technique, you'll learn how much length is required for the patterns you weave. Fold the wire in half and slide the loop under the nail. Fold the loop over the nail and pull the rest of the threads up and through the loop. Pull it taut. Repeat the same steps for the second thread. For this project, anchor the 2 center threads on the tape or wax. Or use 4 threads. Knot one end of each thread and place them under the clip on a cardboard or plexiglass clipboard. Tie a square knot. Bring the right thread across the center. Place the left thread over it. Bring the left thread under the center and through the loop. Pull it taut to form the first half of the square knot. Now, bring the left thread across the center, place the right thread over it, bring the right thread under the center and through the loop. Pull it taut and you have a completed knot. If you need practice with knotting, come back to this section of the video and try this technique with twine or string. Practice until you can make the knots automatically. Work on making the knots even for a consistent texture. Continue knotting the wax threads until you complete a length longer than you need. Wrap a strip of paper around the ring mandrel of the size you want, overlap the edges and mark both ends of the paper at once, or try the gauge on the side of the ring mandrel or a small ruler. Mark the length you need. Flatten the paper and use it as a guide to select the most uniform portion of the pattern. Flatten the knotted threads at the bottom of the pattern and wrap them with masking tape. Carefully remove the pattern from the nail, flatten that end, and wrap it with masking tape. Place the pattern next to the paper and line up the length you need with the best portion of the pattern. Dab a little bit of Aran Alpha adhesive or instant setting glue on the threads just inside the dimension you need. The threads are under tension. The thin line of super glue will bond the threads together and prevent them from spreading when the pattern is cut. Let it set overnight or for several hours. Cut the pattern slightly beyond the length marked on the paper and use a heated tool or wax pen to weld the ends together. Repeat this at the other end of the pattern. Wrap the wax pattern around the ring mandrel and with a hot tool weld the ends together to finish the model. The one solid section can be used as a sizing bar or to stamp your quality mark and logo. Then the model is ready for sprueing. Try additional macrame or crocheting techniques to develop your own designs. Take a look at macrame books to learn more knotting methods. Attaching sprues is an essential part of model making. Many resources are available to help you increase your knowledge of sprueing methods. It is important to be sure before sprueing that the wax is finished. Any imperfections in the wax will show up in the casting. Remember, the sprues have to be cleaned off of the cast piece. Attach them in places that will not damage the design when they are cut off. Be extra careful where you place sprues on the model, especially with the weaving technique. Don't touch a heated tool to the woven model. You could easily melt a thread and burst the pattern. To prevent this, melt the tip of the sprue and quickly attach it to the model. The extruded matte waxes give a model a clean, smooth surface. That clean surface means your cast piece of jewelry needs very little finishing. The mat gun is a tool with countless applications in your wax modeling work. Continue to practice these exercises with your own freeform designs. Use your wax modeling book for more ideas and advanced techniques. You can combine these techniques to create interesting jewelry. You'll soon develop your own methods for working with the mat gun. Cutting with precision and accuracy takes years of experience. Every project depends on accurate cutting. The mat trimmer is designed to help you precisely shape and file straight or curved surfaces quickly and efficiently. The mat trimmer helps you create the basic structure of a ring model with precision. The basic shape dictates the accuracy of the entire design. Preparing a perfect blank structure helps you carve an excellent wax model. The trimmer also adjusts to different angles for cutting grooves and channels in tapered or cylindrical shanks. The mat trimmer kit consists of the trimmer, the ring template, a rotary file, a hexagon key, the trimmer table, 3 kinds of sample wax blanks, and the owner's manual. Additional items you will find useful are a large flat wax file, a scribe, a small ruler, a mat miter box, a mat ring sizer, and correction fluid or liquid layout. The parts of the trimmer are the mounting bracket, the short arm, the long arm, the socket set screw, and the table. The mat trimmer comes with the 2 adjustable arms already attached to the mounting bracket. The mat trimmer works with your flexible shaft and a 1-inch diameter handpiece. Your trimmer kit includes the rotary file. This file has a specially engineered slant to discharge the cuttings as you turn. Before trimming with the new rotary file, break in the rotary file by lightly touching it on a piece of wood. This will remove any presence of burr that could produce an irregular finish on carving wax. To begin trimming, first attach the table to the mat trimmer. Slide it through the hole in the short arm and tighten the socket set screw. Pass the handpiece through the mounting bracket just up to the handpiece chuck key. Tighten the bracket screws lightly at first. Attach the rotary file to your handpiece. This file is specially designed to give the wax piece a smooth surface without clogging. Swing the table close to the file. Use a square ruler or the edge of the template to make sure that the table and the rotary file are at a 90-degree angle. To test the table angle, place a wax blank onto the table and start cutting. Then flip the wax blank around and touch it against the file. If you see a mark with even straight walls, the angle is right. If you see a mark that is wider at the top or bottom, the table has a slant. Correct the angle by loosening and retightening the table socket until the angle is 90 degrees. Now the trimmer is ready for a project. First, let's review the importance of creating the basic shape with precision. It is extremely important to start with a basic shape that is well made because the basic shape dictates the accuracy of the entire design. Every cut you make becomes an essential element in the structure of your ring design. The center line and lateral lines that you scribe onto the basic shape are your point of reference during the entire modeling process. As you work systematically from the blank to the finished model, you open up the various planes of the design. Any inaccuracy in the basic shape will only be magnified as you work. Creating a precise rendition of a ring's shape depends on the accurate filing of the blank. The mat trimmer is the key to preparing a perfect blank structure. With this tool, you cut perfectly symmetrical shanks with consistent wall thickness. When you create the basic structure with precision, you have a better ring. Plus, you save time by taking away wax quickly while keeping the accuracy you need to carve an excellent wax model. The best way to develop your skill with the mat trimmer and the template is to experiment with simple exercises. The template is a valuable part of your mat trimmer kit. The mat ring template will assist you in accurately transferring the ring shape onto wax. The template eliminates the time-consuming job of drawing the outlines of the rings with dividers. The different cutouts include ring shapes for both men and women. With 18 different ring shapes, the template helps you avoid the problems that can arise from drawing freehand. The shapes on the template have built-in shank guides and center lines to help you scribe accurately. First, we'll create a basic shape like this, starting with the mat ring template. Begin with working drawings of your design or use sketches showing the accurate dimensions of the ring. You will refer to these measurements as you work. Choose the matte wax tube that is appropriate for the job. Green wax is strong, rigid yet resilient, and is excellent for intricate work. Blue wax is more flexible but still strong. Now, take a look at the template. Choose the shape that is closest to the contour of the ring you are making. Then choose the wax ring tube shape that is closest to the ring shape you need. Next, cut a wax blank from the ring tube. Before cutting, check the drawing to measure the thickness of the ring design and allow for an excess of 2 millimeters. For this ring, the design is 8 millimeters, so we cut a 10 millimeter wax blank. The matte miter box helps you make a nice clean cut with perfectly straight parallel walls. Cut on the outside of the line. File both sides of the wax blank to a smooth surface. Now, use the template to transfer the ring shape onto the wax. For this demonstration, we choose shape number 3. Place this shape over the wax blank. The template must lie flat on the surface. To keep it level, provide even support on the 4 corners of the template. With a tracer, scribe the shape onto the wax. Keep the tracer perpendicular to the template. Be sure the template does not shift as you work. Go over the shape 2 or 3 times to be sure it is properly engraved. The template helps you maintain perfect symmetry as you transfer the design. With this tool, you mark the guidelines that dictate the whole modeling process. The shank guide helps you draw the contour of the shank with accuracy. Next, spread a little bit of correction fluid or liquid layout over the lines. Wipe off the excess and gently file the surface so that the lines are clearly visible. The wax blank is ready to trim. This next exercise will help you develop your technique with the mat trimmer. Check once again to be sure the table is at a 90-degree angle. Put the rotary file through the hole in the wax blank. Place the wax blank flat against the table and hold it there. Spin the rotary file at a medium speed. With a gentle rotating motion, feed the wax onto the rotary file. In just a few turns, the hole will be enlarged. Always leave the white line on the side of the job. Check the size of the enlarged hole with the ring mandrel. Leave some extra material for corrections. For example, if you are creating a ring size 7, the size of the basic shape would be approximately 6.5. Now, trim the outside. Keep the wax blank flat on the trimmer table. Slowly feed the work onto the rotary file with a sweeping, even motion. As you approach the scribed line, ease the pressure and speed. Move back and forth, barely touching the file. This gives the basic shape a good finish. Use a file for any final touch-ups. To correct the size of the wax, use the matte ring sizer. Slide the basic shape onto this mandrel and gently rotate it. As the blade turns, it cuts the inner wall, enlarging the ring, leaving a smooth, even finish. Practice trimming several other ring blanks. Work with different shapes and sizes to polish your skill with the template and trimmer. Once you have a well-made basic shape, there are 2 routes to choose from: hand carving or continue with the mat trimmer milling operation. Depending on your skill and the ring design, you can choose your next direction. Take the basic shape and work with files and hand carving tools to create the model. Or use the mat trimmer in the milling position. We will show you this technique in the next exercise. No matter what direction you choose to complete the wax, you will save time when you start with the mat trimmer. Cut away wax fast and still prepare an accurate basic shape with perfectly symmetrical shanks. You will file straight or curved surfaces quickly and easily with this valuable tool. The precision of a perfect basic shape is reflected in the beautiful jewelry you can create, starting with the mat trimmer. The second application of the mat trimmer is the milling operation. With a quick adjustment of the table, you can cut grooves, blind channels, and open channels with speed and precision. This exercise will demonstrate the milling operation. To set up the trimmer, remove the rotary file. For milling, you will need a burr or wheel. There are many variations of burr sizes and shapes to choose from to suit your job. Experiment and select the right size for the channel you want to create. Wax burrs give you a clean edge against the wax. Other burrs also work but are not as free cutting as burrs made for wax. If you need a special shape, any metal burr will work. With practice, you'll be able to tell which burr is best for the job at hand. To set up for milling, lock the burr into the handpiece. We want to make a 3mm channel in this demonstration, so we chose a 3mm wheel. Loosen the long arm socket set screw and the mounting bracket screws next to the long arm. Extend the long arm to its full length and rotate the table. Position it parallel to the burr and tighten the bracket screws. Adjust it until the table is straight. Use a small ruler to adjust the table to the correct height for the placement of the channel. First, to cut an open channel, scribe the basic shape. Place the basic shape flat against the table surface. Gently feed the model into the rotating burr to the depth of 1 mm. Rotate the band counterclockwise for the length of the channel. Repeat this motion, peeling away a layer at a time. Increase the depth by 1 mm each time until the channel is opened through. Remember to remove layers of wax approximately 1 mm at a time, depending on the burr you are using. This helps you maintain control of the work and produce a cleaner cut. To cut a channel, feed the model into the rotating burr to the depth of 1 mm and cut the channel. Remember, don't try to cut away too much at a time. Watch the burr to monitor the depth of the cut. The milling operation works on straight surfaces and on curved surfaces. You can also use the mat trimmer for drilling. Practice milling different channels. Try various ring shapes to develop your milling technique. With the mat trimmer kit, remove wax quickly and easily with the accuracy you need. Create or cut all kinds of shapes, slants, or curves with this tool. If you are a wax carver with years of experience, you can still speed up your modeling process with the mat trimmer. If you are just developing your wax carving skills, the mat trimmer helps you strengthen your cutting ability, combining firmness, skill, and precision into an efficient tool. Experiment with these exercises. Whether you are trimming or milling wax, the mat trimmer will save you time and help you create better wax models. The mat mini lathe removes wax on all kinds of circular and cylindrical forms. This unique tool will help you create bands, bezels, coin holders, settings, all kinds of circular wax models. The mat mini lathe consists of the lathe with a square-nosed cutting tool, the milling table, 3 wax rods, and wax collets. In addition, an Allen wrench, extra blank cutting tools, and hand tools are included. The components of the mini lathe are the handpiece bracket, the shaft, the cutting tool bracket, the cutting tool holder, and the wax holding collet. The tool holder and the cutting tool are already mounted on the tool holding bracket. The matte mini lathe also works with a flexible shaft 1-inch diameter handpiece. Additional tools you may find useful are a graver, tweezers, alcohol lamp, dividers, caliper, spring gauge, and additional wax rods. First of all, rest your forearm on the table, the handpiece resting comfortably in your palm. Keep the handpiece parallel to the table top. Lower the motor if necessary. Slide the handpiece through the handpiece bracket just up to the chuck key slot. Tighten the bracket screws. Matte wax rods are supplied with the kit so you can begin experimenting. 3 types of wax are included with your kit. All can withstand delicate and intricate work. The green wax is rigid and strong. The blue wax is more flexible, and the purple wax is in between. Choose the wax that is best for your technique, depending on the job you are doing. Experiment with the samples in your kit to learn the characteristics of each wax. Additional wax rods are available pre-cut to the right size for the mini lathe. Each rod is pre-cut to a 1.5-inch length. This is the ideal length for the mini lathe. Longer causes vibration as you work. With a shorter rod, you could run out of wax after attaching it. Each rod has a hole in one end for attaching the collet. To attach a wax holding collet to a wax rod, use a pair of tweezers to hold the collet over the flame of an alcohol lamp, torch, or burner. A torch gives you fast results. Heat the collet for 1 minute. Test the collet temperature with a small piece of wax. Place the wax rod with the hole up. Push the hot collet into the wax rod. Submerge it in the wax. Let some wax go over the edge of the collet to hold it better. Let it cool at least 10 minutes. Be sure to let the wax cool completely before loading the collet onto the lathe. Attach the wax collet to the handpiece. Hold the cutting tool to the left of the wax rod. The tool is designed so that the wax circles from the top toward the cutting tool. Before running the flex shaft motor, hold the cutting tool bracket with one hand and practice sliding it forward and back along the shaft. Slide and twist, testing the lateral movement of the tool holding bracket. For lateral cuts, move the cutting tool from left to right. As you practice the following projects, you will develop your own techniques with this tool. The first project is creating a basic ring band. We will make a basic band using the matte mini lathe. With this exercise, you'll become familiar with the capabilities of the mini lathe. Try the blue wax rod for this exercise. At first, the wax rod will spin off-center. Push the tool holding bracket forward until the cutting tool just touches the outside of the wax rod. As you work, keep the edge of the cutting tool in line with the horizontal diameter of the workpiece. Press the pedal of the flexible shaft, giving the wax a controlled, smooth spinning movement. Generally, wax rods of larger diameter need less speed, smaller rods need more speed. To eliminate vibration in the wax rod, begin by peeling off wax from the outside. Slide the cutting tool with a steady, even motion. A continuous light peeling of the wax will give your work a smooth, beautiful finish. A deeper cut will remove wax more quickly, but this technique will leave a rougher finish. Generally, use deeper cuts to rough in the shape, then use shallow cuts for precise finishing. After centering, the next step is facing the wax rod. Push the tool holding bracket forward until the cutting tool touches the face of the work. Speed up the flex shaft and push the cutting tool forward 1 millimeter. Pan it across the front of the rod. Using the square nose cutting tool, turn the inside first. Hollow the rod by bringing the cutting tool to the center of the workpiece. Gently push forward to a depth of a few millimeters beyond the desired depth of the band. Always leave some working space between the wax collet and the cutting tool, or you could damage the cutting tool by driving it into the collet. Pull the cutting tool back and move it to the left at approximately 1 millimeter intervals. Gradually widen the hole using the whole length of the tool. This will allow you some leeway when you cut off the band. Measure the inside diameter with a caliper or a wax gauge dowel. When the inside diameter is a half size smaller than the size you need, begin reducing the outside diameter. With the tool on the left side, shave off 1 millimeter at a time, pulling the tool back each time. When you reach the approximate wall thickness, touch the cutting tool into the wax just a notch and pull back. Measure the wall thickness before cutting all the way through. Here, the measurement is correct. Here, we show a step if the diameter is wrong. Simply use a lateral movement to clean off the wrong edge. Make a new notch and check the wall thickness. Align the cutting tool and cut the wall thickness all the way through. When the finger size and the wall thickness are correct, mark the width of the band. First, use a ruler to open a divider to the size you wish. Pull the cutting tool aside and use it as support for the dividers. Hold one point of the divider just off the edge of the wax. Hold the other point on the wax band and spin the flex shaft slowly. Use a graver or one of the lathe cutting tools to cut off the band. For final sizing of the wax band, use the mat ring sizer. There are 2 blank lathe cutting tools included with your kit. Modify the tools by grinding them to create your own. Be sure to bevel all sides of the tool and polish them to keep a clean cutting edge. To loosen the cutting tool or to remove it for resharpening, use the key in the kit. Bands like this one are the basic building block for any design you wish to create. The Mat Mini Lathe can help expand the scope of your carving achievements. Another technique combines the lathe and the mat gun. Prepare a thin band and mark the cutoff width. Remove the handpiece from the shaft and place it on the table. With the mat gun, extrude a free-form design onto the band. Turn the wax by hand, let it cool. Reattach the handpiece to the flex shaft and cut the extruded wax with the cutting tool. Take away very thin layers of wax to flatten the wax. Use this technique for 2-color casting. Your versatile Mat Mini Lathe also works with custom-made hand tools. 3 stainless steel hand cutting tools are provided with the Mat Mini Lathe. The hand cutting tools are 2-sided, offering you 6 shapes to work with. These tools are included in your kit so you can start experimenting with them right away. As you develop your skill with these tools, your carving options increase. Try the following projects to experiment with the hand cutting tools in the kit. The 6 simple shapes provided in the Mini Lathe kit are intended to teach you how the technique works. Once you learn the technique, you can create your own shapes. The hand tools are pre-shaped, but they need to be beveled to be ready for work. Take a half-round or escapement file to bevel the edge. A small grinding wheel will also work. The purpose of the bevel is to eliminate drag. A flat edge will drag wax, preventing the blade from making a clean cut. The bevel prevents this by eliminating the material below the cutting edge. Bevel just the tip of the tool and a tiny bit on each side on all cutting edges. Whether you use the provided hand tools or create your own, always bevel the edge. For this project, we will prepare a band for channel setting. Make the basic band and mark off 4.5 millimeters. Pull the cutting tool holder to the left side to create a hand tool rest. Be sure that the wax rotates toward the cutting tool. With the A side of this hand cutting tool, separate the band to differentiate it from the rod. Rest the hand cutting tool against the lathe cutting tool. Always hold the hand tool with the beveled side down. Using side B, make the channel in the center to the desired depth. check the depth of the channel with the caliper. Cut the band off of the rod with the A side of the hand tool. The band is now ready to be marked and divided for channel setting. For this second practice exercise, make a hollow half-round band. With the basic band measured and differentiated from the rest of the rod, use this tool side C against the outside of the band. Begin with a light rocking movement. Gently press the tool against the band. This forms the half-round outer curve. To hollow the inside of the band, slide the cutting tool holder back and position the cutting tool inside the center of the band. Rest side D of the hand tool on the lathe cutting tool and press it against the inner wall. Position a light so you can see that the hand tool is properly centered. Continue pushing until you reach the desired depth. Check the dimension with a spring gauge. Then, cut the band off of the rod. For this third exercise, we will make a frame. Use this technique for pendants, coin holders, tie tacks, earrings, and cufflinks. Prepare and measure the band in the usual way. With the lathe cutting tool on the left side of the wax rod, rest the hand cutting tool on it. Position this cutting tool against the face of the band. Press the cutting tool against the band. The tool determines the shape and depth of the cut. Cut the frame off of the wax rod. You can also use a graver for narrower cuts. Your Mat Mini Lathe kit includes the owner's manual with many additional practice projects. Look at the book and experiment with the ideas shown, including creating your own custom cutting tools and cutting with a template. Practice these exercises. These simple shapes teach you how it works. Modify your own hand tool shapes with a file or burr. Increase your carving speed and open up new ideas for your wax modeling with these hand tool techniques. Another feature of the Mat Mini Lathe is its milling or routing function. Route slotted or recessed parts with this function. Milling or routing with the Mat Mini Lathe is demonstrated with this simple project. Cut a piece like this with the Mat Mini Lathe set up as a vertical milling or routing tool. To set up the Mini Lathe for milling or routing, remove the cutting tool and attach the milling table to the cutting tool holder. Place a burr into the flex shaft handpiece. Choose the burr that is best suited for the cut you need. Here, we chose a cylinder single cut. Scribe the design onto wax and use liquid layout on the lines. Feed the burr into the wax slowly and evenly. Keep the burr's teeth sweeping forward along the line of the cut, opposing the direction of feed. Lift the burr up and out of the work. Practice this technique and develop your own application for this milling or routing tool. The Mat Mini Lathe removes wax fast. This tool saves you time on all kinds of circular and cylindrical forms. The Mat Mini Lathe speeds up your modeling work and expands your design options. Use this tool to create bands, bezels, earrings, coin holders, settings, and wax models of all kinds. Now that you have seen the practice exercises in this video, work on the projects and develop your skill. Soon you will adapt each tool to your own methods. Use the mat tool techniques to develop new designs. Bring up your speed by perfecting these applications. Try the different functions of each tool and expand your creative options. The 3 mat tools featured in this program are available as a kit. Save money by purchasing the kit instead of each tool separately. Supplies for your mat tools are also available. The mat gun supply box includes the wood mandrel, an alcohol burner, and 40 pieces each of matte blue wax, green wax, and red wax. The matte wood mandrel is also available separately. You can also purchase the wax pellets for the mat gun separately in packs of 20 pellets or 130 pellets. Specify the color of wax you prefer. Order wax rods for the mini lathe in 3 sizes. Each box contains 4 rods. The matte ring template can be purchased separately. The template comes with 2 samples of wax and instructions. The matte miter box helps you slice wax with perfectly straight cuts. Choose parallel or tapered walls. The fine steel blade cuts evenly and smoothly. Look for matte ring tubes in the colors and sizes you need. Matte green wax is rigid and ideal for intricate carving or turning. The blue wax, the most popular wax for carving, is more flexible yet strong. The ring tubes are available in different sizes with various diameters. The round styles have centered or off-centered holes. There are 2 sizes in the flat styles. All matte waxes are made to be tough yet resilient. Choose the one that is best for the job you're doing. The matte ring tube sizer cuts the inner wall of a basic ring shape. Slide the basic shape onto the tool at the ring size you need and turn the tool. The blade cuts the inner wall accurately, leaving a smooth, even finish. The book, Wax Modeling for Jewelry and Sculpture, is also available separately. These supplies and tools can help you with your modeling work. To order these supplies or tools, contact Rio Grande, Albuquerque, 6901 Washington Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87109, or call toll-free 1-800-545-6566.